What up, beautiful people? My name is Christian. I'm from Good Vibes Only. I've got Adam here today with me. Our vision is to normalize speaking up, reaching out, and asking for help. Adam is the co-founder of Ananda, a Quest of Bliss, and also my older brother. So, Ananda is a breathwork and yoga. What would you call yourselves?
A movement.
A movement. Very similar to the Good Vibes Only movement. No jokes.
We're all
Uh,
moving together.
yeah, we're all moving. So Adam's been on a really awesome journey of growth, which has led him to develop these skills of healing and want to share it with the world. And yeah, he was a commercial real estate agent not too long ago, and he's changed up his life completely. He's living in this cool little tiny home now. Changed his whole life up, and I'm really proud of how far he's come and what he's up to. But I'll hand over to him to just explain what Ananda is and who he is, and a little bit about his journey. So, who are you, Adam, and what is Ananda?
Cheers, brother. First of all, I just wanted to say how proud I am of you as well with your movement and how far you've come. Like
Gratitude's the attitude.
100% always, brother. But truly, like seeing you grow and seeing this movement grow and all the events you've thrown and all the people you've touched and just how you've poured your passion and energy into this has been awesome to see. So that's beautiful, and long may it continue. Just want to see you helping people grow and healing yourself, which is, I think, what we're all here to do in our own way. To find that light within, to connect with that light within, learn to love ourselves as much as possible, and then just spread that as far and wide as we can. So that's what we're doing with Ananda. So in terms of who I am, as you said, I'm a healer, which is something that I've only really discovered recently, probably in the last 12 months or so. I've always known there was that part of me, and I just haven't really known how to tap into that. So part of my healing journey is to allow that to flourish, to allow that energy to be spread as far and wide as possible. And I'm doing that through Ananda, through this quest of bliss, and we call it a quest of bliss rather than a quest for bliss, because that bliss is always within us. It's just a matter of allowing it to emanate from the inside out, to spread to other people. I'm a healer, I'm a peacemaker, I'm a dove, if you want to put it that way. And my mission is to spread that bliss as far and wide as possible. My purpose in yoga, we have something called a sankalpa, and a sankalpa is your purpose or your inner resolve, and we put that into a sentence basically. So to really solidify and understand what we're about, what our essence is. And so my sankalpa is to spread pranayam with passion and purpose. And so that's what I endeavor to live every day, with my connections with individuals, with a one-on-one session or group sessions, and just generally with the whole Ananda movement. And that's what Ananda is about. It's about spreading the bliss. It's about allowing others to understand the healing power of the breath. Not only the breath, obviously, the other half of Ananda is yoga. So yoga and yogic principles, yogic teachings, and my focus is the breathwork side of things, the pranayam. And you've experienced it yourself. Almost everyone in their own way that has joined this journey with Ananda has felt the bliss within. They've tapped into that. And my mission is to just keep that rolling forward. So that's a little bit of an intro.
Beautiful. Well, yeah, I suppose if you're watching this and you've been here since day one, you can already see physically the changes that I've been through, but I think spiritually, mentally, there's been a huge growth for me, and part of that has been just allowing Adam to teach and show me this amazing practice of breath work. And spiritually, I feel so much better than yeah, I've ever felt. And it's hard to explain unless you try it and you give it a go. And now breathwork has become a part of my daily routine every morning. It started with Wim Hof. It was like a tiny little part of my day that I would try and do. And, I just felt good. And I was like, what is this? Why does it feel so amazing? And then Adam's gone on this journey of learning and developing and growing as a breathwork instructor. And yeah, he shared that with me. And yeah, it's just crazy. And I don't know how to describe it. You just need to come to one of our sessions and enjoy it. But,
What we could do is we could try it right now together with the audience.
oosh,
A
oosh.
breathwork technique.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Center ourselves, set an intention for this whole thing as well,
Mm-hmm.
individually, and also our audience can set an intention for what they want to get out of this, whatever that is that comes to them. But yeah, we can do a little breathwork technique together. So the one we'll do is a calming technique. It will calm our mind, calm our body, calm our spirit. It's called vritti pranayam. And vritti are streams of consciousness. So we're connecting with those streams of consciousness and calming those streams of consciousness. Sometimes our mind can run away. Sometimes emotions within us can take hold and they can flow and they can flood and make us a bit busy, make us something other than present. So our goal with bliss is to connect with the present moment, because in the present moment is where we find bliss. So we'll do a technique which is quite popular and you may have heard of before. It's called box breathing. So it's what Navy SEALs do to calm themselves. I've just noticed also that we're talking to the camera, we're not talking to each other. Is that...
Oh, no, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't really matter, but yeah.
Well, I'm looking at you in the camera.
Yeah, so am I. We could just look at each other and then that might be a little bit more natural. But anyway, we'll
We're
keep
talking
moving.
to the audience.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
They're with us.
Mm.
They're with us. All good. So it's box breathing, and we're going to start with a 5-second box technique. So the box, obviously, as a box does, it has 4 sides, and the 4 sides are made of... Wow. Mind blown, mic drop. Yeah. So the 5 sides of the box. So the inhale, then we hold. Sorry, the 4 sides. Okay, connect. The inhale, a hold in the chest. So we're breathing from our belly up to our chest with that inhale. We're holding in the chest for 5 seconds. We're exhaling for 5 seconds, holding at the bottom of the belly for 5 seconds, and then continuing that box. So for the first couple, I will count. So Chris will do it and I will count. And then we can do it all together. So starting by finding a nice comfortable seated position. You can be in a chair. You can be sitting on the floor cross-legged. You can sit in what we call thunderbolt pose, which is up on your knees like this. Whatever's comfortable. Just start by finding that comfortable position. And when we find that comfortable position, if we're in a seated position, we're connecting with our sit bones, which are the 2 bones in our bottom, obviously. So feel those sit bones, find balance in those sit bones, and start to stack your spine from the base up. So from the coccyx, vertebra by vertebra, each bone in the spine, feeling it elongate, feeling it build and lengthen, finding that length in the spine. As we move up to the chest, you feel that chest move slightly forward. Your shoulders come down and back, and your neck stays in line with your spine. Your head and your neck stay in line with your spine. Nice, straight line, relaxed, and every other part of the body, just keeping that spine erected. And we're going to start to connect with a nasal breath. And in pranayama, we connect with that nasal breath because it has many benefits, which we can talk about later. Okay, so to begin the first round, we're going to exhale completely, push everything out. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding in the chest, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding, 2, 3, 4, 5, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, and continue that for 3 more breaths. We'll finish there. And just keep your eyes closed for a few seconds, a few more natural breaths. And just connect with your body. Feel the sensations in your body. Feel the spaciousness in the mind and the physical body as we've connected with that full breath from the belly all the way up to the chest. Just go for a little wander through your body. Feeling the sensations, connecting with those sensations. Beautiful. And open your eyes. Little taste of bliss. Little taste of bliss. Yummy. Yeah. So just to talk about pranayama in terms of its definition just quickly, because it's important to know when we talk about these things, where it all comes from. These are sacred things. These are sacred practices that have been around for thousands of years, up to 10,000 years of recorded history, and that's recorded history. So one would think that it may have been even longer that these things have been practiced. So the word pranayama, or pranayama, as some people say, you're not supposed to pronounce the last A, but it's all good. It means, it's got 2 parts to it. It's a Sanskrit word. The first part is life force, prana. So the life force is what nourishes our body. It's not just oxygen, it's the electrical impulses that move around our body through our nervous system. It's a whole range of things, but it's life force energy. It's what we operate from. It's the petrol that runs our physical body, our emotional body, our spiritual body, and our mental body. So it's all those things together. Yama is control. So we learn to cultivate and control that life force energy, and we do that through the breath. Ayama is to extend, so to extend the breath. So yeah, that's the practice of pranayama. That's sort of the core of it, the essence of it, and we go through these different practices to connect with the breath and connect with the body. We now have a new way of describing these things, which is in scientific language. This is the contemporary way that proves, I guess, all those yogic practices and the yogic teachings in modern parlance, I guess you could say, and has that scientific backing that people can understand. So it's all about the nervous system. It's all about connecting with the nervous system. So when we slow the breath, we connect with the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, which is our rest and digest. And when we activate our system, when we energize our system with hyperventilating techniques, more intense techniques, we're activating the sympathetic nervous system. And there's so many corresponding or parallels, corresponding words and corresponding ideas between science and yogic practice. Ida and Pingala, masculine, feminine, left brain, right brain, all these things overlap. And it's amazing to see the more you dig, the deeper you become, but also the more you learn and the more knowledge you acquire, you see these parallels, and it's so powerful. It's so, super enlightening and an amazing journey. Yeah, but I'll hand it over to you to keep guiding the conversation.
Yeah, nah. Thank you for that explanation. I think when I hear you speaking, I always connect it back to like Māori worldview stuff and that idea of Māori, which is life force, spiritual life force, and and the fact that it's crazy to me, all these things that have been around for thousands and thousands of years, like Māori practice, like yogic practices, that are finally getting proven by science, and scientists are kind of biting their tongues because they're like, oh, we just thought this was airy fairy bullshit, and now they're like, oh wow,
And to be fair, I think both of us, when we first were exposed to this sort of stuff, thought along the same line, and that's all that sort of Do I need that or can we hear?
Yeah, you go.
Should put it in the middle. That's all that sort of pre-programming that we have in society. We have certain ways and certain accepted ways, I suppose, of dealing with things and understanding things. And yeah, we can think of these things as new age and spiritual, which they are, but they're also able to be proven by science. And like you said before, until you actually try it for yourself, you're never going to know.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, I think most people, when they try it, they feel that connection. It can be scary at times because it's confronting to deal with your demons and to walk into those shadows, because that's 100%. What it starts to uncover when you're alone with your thoughts in deep meditation, which is what advanced pranayama is about. It's not about the hyperventilating techniques and all the sensations. It's the moments at the end of practice when you're sitting in silence and connecting with those deep dark shadows and working through that shit, you know. And that's where real growth comes. That's when we connect with the bliss.
I was going to say something else, but I feel like this is a great segue.
Yep.
Can we go off topic? I know I gave you questions, but
Do it.
yeah. I feel like, because Good Vibes Only for me has been an experience of redefining, reframing my negative past to build a positive future. So that's what the movement's all about. And I feel like I'm sitting in a space of being able to rewrite my future into a positive one. And Adam is doing exactly the same thing. But I think for you guys to really connect with who he is, and where he's come from, I guess there needs to be a connection to his past. And if you're comfortable talking about it, I would love to talk about your first experience of finding that aggression that you used to not be able to tame.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you know what I'm talking about, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, one of your questions that you had planned was my greatest struggle, and you've hit the nail on the head with my greatest struggle. And that's been a big part of my healing, is to connect with that fight response, which is a part of your sympathetic nervous system, which we can start to control through breath work. And just those sitting in those moments of silence with my thoughts when I meditate, that's when I've... Shit.
It's alright, bro.
No, it's all good, yeah. Let it out. Yeah, that's when I've really connected with the deepest, darkest parts of myself. But also, I think, as you said, in order to connect with the story, you need to go back. And there's multiple parts, so I might jump around a little bit. But yeah, the core of it is there's this rage inside, this fight response, which has become embedded in my in my personality, in my, I don't know, in the way I've dealt with things in life. And it's really been a challenge to grapple with that and to learn to accept it, I guess. And where it all started was childhood, as most of these things do. And we've got 6 siblings. I'm one of 7. Christian's the youngest. We have 5 sisters. And growing up, we had an amazing life. We had everything we needed and more. We had a lot of love. We had awesome connections between the siblings. But as always, there's always challenges, especially with a big family and financial struggles and all that sort of stuff in the early years. And back in the days of what we call corporal punishment, or just getting a hiding. Exactly. The bout. Yes, exactly. And so being the eldest male in the family, I did bear a bit of the brunt of that, and I developed. This is something I found through meditation. Is I only connected this dot through really deep meditation and figured out where this fight response originated from. And where it originated was a time where I first stood up to my father physically. It was the age of about 13, It's actually right in front of where we are right now in the driveway. And I felt it coming. I felt, sheesh, pretty emotional. I didn't expect this. It's all good. I felt a hiding coming on. And I decided in that moment it was time to stand up and resist rather than just take a hiding. And that was, I guess, part of my masculine self-maturing or whatever. But what it culminated in is me fighting back and actually striking my father. And he was shocked. I was shocked. Everyone was shocked by what happened. Obviously, can be pretty hectic. It's a pretty charged situation. And after that, the hiding stopped. After that, he decided that mode or that method of discipline was no longer going to work. He also set a line in the sand and said that if it happened again, if I hit him again, that I would be out. So yeah, in 2 breaths, it was, one, it was a lot on the line that if I did it again, I was out of the house. And the other side of me, which I wasn't immediately conscious of, and I haven't really been conscious of until recently, was that solidified that fight response within me. All of a sudden, that response became a weapon, I suppose, a defense mechanism in times of struggle, in times where my back was against the wall. That's what came out. And so that feel pretty vulnerable right now.
Normalize that shit, brother.
Going straight in, right into the deepest parts of me. But it's all good. I know how powerful it is to share these things, so I'm willing to wear my heart on my sleeve. But yeah, so what that did is it solidified the fight response within me, and it manifested in many ways at different times of my life with different people. And unfortunately, most of the times it ended up being people close to me, like yourself. You bore the brunt of it. Partners, and I apologize profusely for any time where, to anyone out there, any time where you bore the brunt of that rage. And it's something that I've had to forgive myself for. And to let go of the shame to realize that it's part of me, and to accept that part of me, and also to find the strength to learn to live with it, embrace it, and allow the tension that it builds within my life and within myself to be released. Because by embracing any tension, we're able to release that tension. We take away its power. And that's the biggest thing I've learned so far on my journey. I'm still definitely working through it. And it takes time, and every day you learn something new. Every day you build more strength and resilience. And I'm just so grateful that I found this purpose, that I found my sankalpa, that I'm walking in my strength, and that I found this light that I can share with other people and heal with other people.
Beautiful. I think, first thing I want to say after that is thank you so much for, being vulnerable, sharing that. I mean, you've never shared that with me in that depth, and this is on recording, and it's just so powerful. I think this is the first time on one of the podcasts as well we've had, crying. Even I felt like crying, but I'm tough as. Not, but I think it's this personal space. We haven't because of COVID, we haven't been able to, sit in a personal space with someone else and do a podcast. And when I did with Tim, it was just very lighthearted, funny. We wanted to bring that vibe into it. But yeah, just want to say a huge thank you for being vulnerable there. It's beautiful to hear a man, share with such power and articulate things beautifully and, share emotions. And, we're changing the fucking world. This is our generation,
Let's go.
Good
Let's
vibes
grow.
only, baby! But, yeah, I think if we connect, like, psychologically back to what that is, recently I've seen a therapist, and I was consistently seeing her, and I'll be honest, it just changed how I think about things. She's a psychologist and a mindset mentor, so she kind of helped me through what I was thinking, how I was feeling, and she shared this thing quite early on around sovereign lies. And I think for you, that sovereign lie was, um, you know, aggression keeps me safe. And anytime, like you said, your back was against the wall, you lashed out. And for me, my sovereign lie was a lot around losing people. And it it meant for me that I was always extending myself so much more to try be there for people because I thought, I had lost friends to suicide. I'd, lost friends to cancer and stuff like that. And I instantly always thought in my brain, if I'm not here for you, you're going to die. And that led to a whole lot of other issues for me, like my negative self-talk and thinking I wasn't good enough and thinking I was a piece of shit. And, I'd lost these people and it created this sovereign lie. And I think when you uncover sovereign lies, it's in a way freeing and empowering. And I think for you, finding the sovereign lie of aggression keeps me safe. Because in a adolescent mind, it's so simple. Yes, it did keep you safe.
Yeah.
It kept you from getting smacked again and again. And you took that on with you. But when you have the chance, like you said, through meditation to reflect and really think about, is it still keeping me safe? No.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what that did for me as well, just going through that process of uncovering my sovereign lie and then figuring out it doesn't serve its purpose anymore.
Yeah. And it takes courage. It takes courage to walk towards those blockages, because that's what they are. They're blockages in our nervous system. They're connections, they're neural connections in our brain that become solidified, and they're our default. They're what we fall back on when we're pushed against the wall. And so by allowing that connection to happen through quiet meditation or whatever method suits you, therapy, whatever light that you find, by making that connection and sitting with those things, we're able to unpack them. And then what happens then is we start to release the blockages within our system. And there's certain techniques with breathwork. Everything goes back to breathwork with me because I'm a breath nerd. But there's certain techniques. We go through a wave pattern, as you know, in every breathwork journey that we do together, where we stimulate the system, we energize the system, and that builds prana up in our system. And that can access our nervous system. That puts us in a more alert state, which is essentially that fight or flight response, but on a very subtle level. Then we cleanse the system. And that cleansing effect is what we're talking about now, is we connect with those blockages in our system. We're rotating and circulating that prana through the body, which allows those blockages in our nervous system to start to be agitated. They can be mental thought processes that are aligned with old behavior patterns. They can be emotional connections that we make with reactions to trauma from our past. And those sit in our system and they block our system. They halt and they hinder our mind-body connection, which affects the way we live our lives, affects the way we respond to certain situations. And by connecting with the cleansing breath, we start to agitate those blockages and lift them up. We may feel emotions come up. We may feel thoughts start to flood through our mind. But it's important to sit with those thoughts and sit with those feelings and take away their power. It's that whole embracing the tension. And that's what we do when we walk, seek discomfort. Yeah, exactly, in a way. So we're walking towards that tension, walking towards those dark spaces in our mind and our body, and allowing them to heal, allowing them to lift and be freed. And then when we connect with the parasympathetic nervous system, that's when we do that deep healing, that reflection, that unpacking of emotions. It's not just to identify these things, but also to unpack them and understand them. The more we sit with them, the more we understand them, the more we take away their power, the power that they have over us. So yeah, it's such a simple but profound mode of healing, and yeah, it overlaps with growth. That's what it is at the end of the day. Healing is growth. The more we dig, the deeper we become.
Yeah, I guess I want, because you were just speaking about how simple it is when we sit and reflect and can unpack these things and then be able to grow through them and build that resilience within us. So I think it's one thing that I've connected with recently when reflecting on my past is this idea of numbing. So in everyday life, we go through so many things that numb us from reality, numb us from our feelings, how we're truly feeling. It's things like overworking, things like alcohol, drugs, exercise, all these things, they could be seen as positive or negative by society. You know, overworking, for example, someone sees you overworking and they're like, oh, what a good dude. But in a way, you're numbing from reality and you're running away. Yeah, running away from how you truly feel. And I guess the reason why I'm talking about this, rambling on, is I'd like you to kind of share what some of your numbing mechanisms were, in the hopes of maybe connecting with some people who are watching and helping them realize I'm numbing from reality, you know? So yeah, do you want to kind of unpack some of those things? Yeah.
100%. Yeah, that's such a good point. And yeah, I guess they're masks, aren't they? They're masks that we hold up to show society we're a certain way. And they come from fear. They come from a place of not having the courage or not being ready, not having the tools probably to connect with those dark parts of ourselves, those shadows, doing that shadow work. And for me, I've had so many coping mechanisms, you've seen it. But yeah, just starting with the 8 to 9 years I spent in commercial property, which I loved, and it was a journey, and I learned so much about myself, met so many awesome people, and developed some really cool skills and connections. So I'm grateful for all of that. And that industry is aligned with working hard. It's all about how much gross commission you've earned, how many listings you have, how many sales you've done, being in the right place at the right time, networking with the right people. It's all about connections, which is an awesome part of it. But it's easy to get caught up in that sort of the definition of success being aligned with money and working more, working harder, living to work basically rather than working to live. And so in that environment, I connected with drinking to a deep level. Had some fun times with my old mate Warren. Shout out Adam Warren. Some pub crawls, plenty of pub crawls, plenty of big nights. Yeah. A lot of coffee, sometimes like 6 to 8 cups of coffee a day, just pinging. Drugs at different points. Those were the main ones really. Working hard, drugs, coffee, drinking. And those were masks to keep the wheels turning. When you're trying to work super hard and putting in the hours. And basically, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're connected with your purpose, right, you don't need those things. If you're connected with a higher purpose, your inner light, you don't need those things to keep you going, because the motivation comes from within, and it's a self-fulfilling thing where there's a positive feedback loop, right? When you give your energy to your purpose, good energy comes back to you, and you ride off that wave. It builds momentum and you move forward. When you're not perfectly aligned, well, not even perfectly aligned, when you're not aligned with that purpose, you need other things to prop you up. And those were the things I was using to prop me up, to keep moving forward. It was coffee, it was drinking. So like one side of the day, you're drinking to unwind, to relax, because you're stressed out. And then you wake up the next day, you're drinking coffee to lift the energy back up, because you've drained yourself by drinking. So it was just a complete loop like that. And then smoking as well, I missed that out. Obviously, I'd never really smoked a lot, but then in the last sort of year or so, before I really aligned with something other than duality. Duality was where I had that excuse where I was doing certain things to make me healthy, and then had an excuse to do these other things that weren't so healthy. And I lived in that mode for quite a while. Like, I was doing a lot of good things for myself and for my health and psyche, but then living with those masks as well, and justifying them by doing the good things. So yeah, smoking, did that for like a year, and it became like a punishment for myself. And in a way, like when I was feeling really down, when I was stressed out, I would go and chain smoke. I would sit alone, and I'd be stressing about my relationship. I'd be stressing about, I don't know, whatever's going on in my life, money, with lockdown, and you just smoke one after the other, and it never felt good. And you'd think, and I would think in the moment, why am I doing this? I don't like this. But you're doing it literally, it's like whipping yourself over the back. And it's not healthy, it's fucking your body, it's, yeah, you just know on so many levels it's not the right thing to be doing. You still do it, and it's that mask. Yeah, so by connecting my mind to my body through breath work, I've started to really connect deeply with the thought patterns and the emotional patterns that go along with those behaviors. And when you can see it and observe it from a passive sort of external place, you stop judging yourself and you stop being ashamed, and you are able to unpack it and allow the healing to just flow. It just starts to happen naturally, because you have more than just a cursory understanding of, oh, I'm doing this to relieve this. It's more than just a reflexive sort of connection. It's more about, what is the genesis of this? Where did this actually start? Why am I doing this? Where does it come from? And once you do that, it naturally falls away. Once you become connected with your body, your mind and your body are connected. The nervous system is activated, and it flows with the mind through that vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is what connects our mind to our body. It connects specifically with our parasympathetic nervous system, that branch of our nervous system which allows us to rest and digest. And when we rest and digest, we're able to connect with deeper levels of ourself, what we call in yoga the subtle body. So we have our gross body, which is the physical elements of our body. That's where we feel tension and injuries in that physical body. But the subtle body is basically those blockages we were talking about before in our mind and our nervous system. And we need to quiet the mind. We need to quiet our psyche in order to become present, to connect with those things. And that's when the real healing starts to happen.
Yeah. I guess, yeah, thank you again for sharing that stuff. It's so vulnerable to be able to share that. But I guess I want to rewind back to...
What did I miss?
No, you didn't miss something. It was, for me, because I connected with it when you said it. You were talking about smoking, and obviously some of you probably don't know, but I was quite a heavy smoker from the age of probably about 18 to... I only stopped like maybe last year, so 23. So yeah, a lot of people don't know that, and when you were talking, you talked about how you were doing it and you hated it and you didn't like doing it, but you kept on doing it. And it's this idea of like self harm. And self harm comes in so many different forms, you know. And if I'm completely honest, I have self harmed in many ways. But some people see things that I see as self harm. Other people may not see it as self harm, but they just don't think badly of it, if you get what I mean. Like exercising, for example. At one point in my life, I was exercising 2-3 times a day and not eating. That was self harm. I was smoking like a fucking chimney, and that was self harm for me. And while doing all these things, drinking, drugs, while doing all those things, I was having the worst negative self talk. Why are you doing this? You're an idiot. This is stupid. I hate you. I hate myself. Like, and then at its worst days, it was, why the fuck are you even alive still? You know, all those kind of thoughts start flowing through your mind. And I guess, yeah, that self harm can come in so many different ways.
It's not just the obvious ones.
Mm.
And like you say, there's more to it.
Mm.
It's those connections that we make with why exactly we're doing it.
Right.
Like for me, the self harm. Yeah, we're getting deep now. We're really getting in the weeds, and yeah, it comes back to like shame for me. It comes back to like, why am I hurting myself? If I know, using the example of smoking, if I know I don't like this, if I know I'm not enjoying it, and it's harming me health wise, why am I doing this? And the reason for me, when I think about it, and I've meditated on it before many times for many hours, it comes back to shame. It comes back to a feeling of inadequacy, a feeling of low self-esteem, lack of self-love. And that's the only reason you do these things that harm yourself. I mean, looking at drinking, and we've spoken about this together before as well, like drinking is something people do to enjoy themselves, to let loose. And we've talked about the fact that, especially experiencing what it is to be on the wagon, is it that we say, or off the wagon, on the wagon, whatever. Anyway, yeah, if you're not drinking and you're being around people that do drink, you can still have a very good time. You don't need the alcohol, and that's not what a lot of the time we think, that the connection is the alcohol, and that's where we get that fun vibe. But when you're with the boys, when you're with people you really care about, you can have a good time without the alcohol. And it's not about the alcohol bringing that connection. It's the actual time and the quality time. Yeah, that's where you get the benefit from, rather than the act of drinking. But going back to the shame, until we really start to deal with those blockages and get to the depths and the genesis of them, we'll continue to find new masks to put on, to hurt ourselves, to punish ourselves, until we can find that contentment and that self-love. And it's a journey. It's not like point A to point B. There's no end to the journey. It's micro changes we can make every day to keep moving towards that thing. And what one peak of the mountain leads to is another peak. There's no end to it. And I think that's an important thing that we have to remember as well, that it is, the journey has no end, and we need to fall in love with the process, and just keep making little changes every day to grow more, to heal more.
And I think connecting back to something you said right at the very start, when you're explaining Ananda, around like being present in that present moment and enjoying the journey, because life is a fucking roller coaster, and regardless of how many good things you are doing for yourself, you're still gonna go through hardships.
100%.
Like, life is a series of ups and downs that we have no idea when they're coming. And all you can do for yourself is put yourself in the best position possible to be able to be resilient, to fight through those hardships. And I think breathwork has become your fucking tool, your armor, and you can attack the world every day and the hardships that you encounter and conquer shit, you know? And yeah, I guess for me as well, I've just developed a whole lot of tools that I try to incorporate into every day that help me. And I suppose this segues on to the next part of the combo around like tools and what you've started to use, breath work included, but if there's other stuff as well, that have helped you through your journey. And yeah, just tell us a little bit about your tools.
My tools. Yeah, well, I think a good way to sort of establish that is like the routine, because routine is huge, and it's the things that we do every day that become the most effective. It's the repetition of those things. When they become ingrained into our life, that's when we really feel the full benefits of it. So for me, when I wake up, first thing I do is I go and have a cold shower. So it's not immediately cold. I would recommend you clean yourself first and have a hot shower.
You're dirty fuckers.
Yeah, but have a warm shower to begin with, and then turn it to cold at the end. And yeah, the first few times it's very uncomfortable, and it can be quite shocking, and it can like trigger you and all that. It's triggering your sympathetic nervous system. It gives you a dopamine release, and it's a great way to start the day. So that's one awesome tool, and you begin to fall in love with it, like you have as well. And whenever we have the opportunity, we go and find somewhere cold to have a swim in a waterfall, morning polar dips in Dunedin, freezing cold, and then walking Queenstown Lake, yeah, in winter, by the Franz Josef Glacier. That was pretty cold. Yeah, no, but yeah, that's one great thing. From there, I go and I take my vitamins, look after my body. I read Stoicism. Well, actually, no, let's do it in order. So what I go to next is I do some yoga. I just do 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, you can look it up on YouTube. There's something called sun salutations. You can do those, and it takes 10 minutes to do 12 rounds of that. And it warms up your whole body. It connects your mind with your body through the breath and the movement, the asana, those poses that we do. So do that, and then I do my breath work. I do 20, 30 minutes. I do it by feel, so I know what my body needs, and every morning I adjust based on the techniques that I think my body needs. So I'll energize my system, I will cleanse my system, and then I'll relax my system, and I'll end it by just meditating for a little while. So that starts my day in terms of physical things, and then I start with my mind. I read The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. Read that every day religiously. If you follow Ananda, follow us if you don't already. Ananda_NZ on Instagram. Ananda Yoga and Breathwork on YouTube, and also on Facebook. You can look us up, Ananda NZ. Daily Stoic, I read that every day. So it's just a short excerpt, some ancient knowledge from Stoics like Epictetus, like Marcus Aurelius, Homer, all the others. Just a little excerpt aligning with a daily message and an explanation to just give me something to feed my mind and set an intention for the day. And then I do journaling. I do journaling morning and night. So in the morning I do my morning power questions, which starts off with gratitude, which is always an awesome thing to do. It gets you in that state of the attitude of gratitude, and you start to see things differently, because as we know, our thoughts create our reality. Perception is reality. So the more we align with gratitude, the more better we feel. So start off with that. The second question is, how is today going to be a great day? So again, aligning with that gratitude, aligning with positive thinking, and setting a goal for the day. So one thing that I'll achieve for the day, and then just some free form writing, whatever's on my mind, getting that out, allowing it to flow. Throughout the day, it's mainly working on Ananda and working on myself. It's a pretty cool lifestyle, really. Yeah, growing the business, working on social media, all that sort of stuff. But in terms of tools, I do again my evening journaling, and that's a great way to end the day. To think about what you've achieved for the day, in the day. Check in again with how you're actually feeling. I know you don't like that question because it's like, actually, what? Do you think I'm a liar? No, but it's really just about going deep within rather than just on the surface. How am I actually feeling? I can think about like my heart rate or whatever. I can think about the things I've got to do. Like you can be surface level, or you can go a little bit deeper, and that's what the prompt is about. It's just about going a bit deeper. What are the other questions with evening journaling? The other questions are, again, gratefulness. What am I grateful for? 3 things I'm grateful for. 3 things that happened that were great in the day. So it's that sort of like highlight reel of the day. And how the day could have been done, how the day could have been better. So reflecting on maybe slip-ups, because we're not perfect. No one's perfect, and we're always working to become better. Yeah, so that's a bit of a rundown of the tools that I use every day. And like I said, the routine is so important. I don't beat myself up when I miss a day. I'm not perfect, and sometimes things get in the way. Life happens, and you don't do everything. I've had a couple of days when I haven't done breath work. But honestly, the way that what we're talking about before in terms of falling in love with the process, that's what I've really embodied with this routine. I've had routines in the past where they've been chores, right? They're boxes I need to tick. And I'm being disciplined because I need to be disciplined, because I need to do these things in order for me to be happy. But with these, I look forward to them. They're something that I love to do, you know? And it changes the whole thing up completely, because it's no longer a commitment that you feel shame when you don't carry forward. It's something that you look forward to doing. So it takes away that tension. It embodies more of a loving light than something that you have to whip yourself over the back if you haven't done.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think one real cool thing that you touched on is that idea of like consistency and stuff like that, and consistency creates ripples in your life that can change your life. And I think also the beauty of loving the process is such a key part to that. I think recently I've been on the same journey of finding love in the process, and things like going to the gym before that I used to be like, ugh, some days I want to go twice a day because I fucking love it, and it's not even a want to look good thing. It's more just I love to sweat, and when I sweat I feel good, and so I want to do it. And taking time for myself now as well, like when I miss a gym session, I'm okay with it, because it's fine, there's no shame in that. Like, weekends for me have become quite hectic, so sometimes I do miss gym sessions, but I know every morning of the week, unless something huge comes up, I'm going to go to the gym. And I love that. And then the breath work and the cold showers and all these beautiful little additions to your day that you can add. One thing I haven't been doing recently, but really helped me through some hard times, was this idea of the 3 L's. I don't know if I've ever shared it with you before, but something that you love every day, something that you can learn every day, and then something love, learn, and laugh. Love, learn, and laugh. So something that makes you laugh every day could just be, taking life not too fucking seriously, which I was a very, for quite a long time, I was really bad for that. I would take life too seriously. People would make jokes and I'd just be like, ugh. But now I just don't give a fuck and I love it. And then something that you can learn every day, it's the simple things like the Daily Stoic, reading a passage every day, or 10 pages in a book, like, love that. And then things that you love every day, for me it's connecting with family, and putting my phone down when I'm hanging out with people, even if it's just for 10 minutes, you know. Sometimes I'm a victim of being on my phone too much, but also putting your phone down when you eat. I fucking love eating. So, like, yeah, little things like that. 3 hours has been really powerful for me. But yeah, I guess we've been going for a wee while now, and I did go off topic, off script, but I guess looking to kind of wrap up now, but wanted to ask you if there's any final things you wanted to leave us with or chat about before we wrap up.
Nothing immediately jumps to mind. The most simple thing that I've picked up on this whole journey is just finding presence, just connecting with the moment. Every moment that comes to us is a blessing. And that's where we can connect with bliss in any moment if we just slow down. Because we live in this world where everything's so busy. We're moving from one thing to the next. We've got one eye on the past or on the future. And we talked about this with the power of now, one of the themes in one of our recent sessions with Ananda. When we have one eye on the past or one eye on the future, maybe we're looking to the past for joyous moments even. We can reminisce about joyous moments, but sometimes we get fixated on them and we think, why can't I be there right now, you know? Or we think about things that bring us shame. Why did I do this? Why did I do that? We look to the future, like things will be better when this happens, when X happens, when I reach this destination, when I have X amount of money. But really, when we have an eye on the future or on the past, we're missing the opportunity of being in the moment. And that's the only timeline that really exists. That's the only moment that we have control over. We only control what's in front of us right now. Some things we don't control that are within our vicinity as well. But we can enjoy the moment by just centering with that present awareness and seeing little things around us. We can look at the colors on the mat. We can look at the trees outside, you know. There's so many little things that we miss when we're frantically moving from one thing to the next. So yeah, really that's the main thing I've learned, is just to slow down and just to allow the flow to happen. You start to see synchronicities and you start to see lessons emerge from the smallest little thing, because you're connected with, your nervous system is connected with vibrations around you. You started to receive these messages, and it's real. The deeper you connect with it, the more connection you have, the more growth you have from that sort of little seed of power, of presence. Yeah, so that's real cool. Is there anything else I want to cover? Oh, I got a promo on Ananda. I know I've already talked about the Instagram and everything like that, but we do have Sunday sessions. We have self-care Sundays at Newland Community Centre. Shout out Laura Peters for hooking us up. Yeah, and look her up actually on Instagram as well, Alchemy Aotearoa. They do crystal singing bowls, alchemy singing bowls, and they do an amazing thing, a very healing methodology or mode of sound healing. So they do guided meditations, they do sound baths, all that sort of stuff, her and her partner James. So look them up. And if you'd like to connect with Ananda, the best place to do it is through our Instagram page, Ananda_NZ. Just send us a DM. Join us for Self-Care Sundays. Those are locked in for every Sunday, 9:30 for yoga. That's 9:30 to 10:30, Hatha Yoga, and in the evenings 5:30 to 6:30 we do our breathwork journeys, and they change up every week. Sign-ups are still open for tomorrow.
Sometimes you do double breath work.
Sometimes we do double breath work. Sometimes we do a morning one. But also, recently, a few of our breathers have asked me to come into their workplace. So if you wanted to try that out for self-care at work, for wellness, if you have any wellness initiatives, reach out. Also do one-on-ones, which is a really cool way of going deeper and connecting with the things that you want to work on personally. And also I can introduce you to breath work on an immersive basis, and you can ask questions directly. But other than that, there's plenty of free stuff on YouTube. Everything I do, this is pretty important. Everything I do is on a koha basis. So my mission is to spread pranayam as far and wide as possible. So spread pranayam with passion and purpose, and I want to do that I am doing that on a koha basis. So anyone who joins our sessions pays what they can afford or what they feel it's worth to them, and that's our way of spreading the bliss and making sure no one is excluded from this beautiful practice, this sacred practice, based on what they can afford. So no excuses to not come, but for sure reach out, and I look forward to having you on the journey with us.
Sweet. Well, yeah, we'll end it up there, but just want to again say a huge thank you to you, Adam, for your presence today, your passion, your enthusiasm to share and be vulnerable and just create a space that is loving for a lot of people. To be that healer takes a lot of time and effort, and as well as that, it takes a big toll on your mental because you're taking on other people's stuff. So thank you for being you, and thank you for just being a healer, and thank you for your time today.
Thank you, brother.
We'll end it up there. Definitely reach out to Adam if you need to, and Good Vibes Only is always here to help if you need anything. So reach out to our personal messages if you need anything, or connect with us at our events. We are looking to run retreats in the near future. We'll have some more fitness fundraisers. We want to do another music event before the end of the year. So just keep your eye out for all that kind of stuff. If you missed the first Just Trust Us, you don't want to miss the second. Okay. But thank you everyone for watching. If you've made it this far, you are an amazing person. If you haven't, get off. No, but thank you guys. We'll end it there.
Namaste.
See you later. Namaste, motherfuckers. Namaste, go now.